And welcome back to everyone who is able to join us again. What we're looking at is the biggest conspiracy theory story that I have seen in years. It certainly took off in 2018, and I believe that there are several reasons why. I do believe that as we go through this time of knowledge that is called the information age by the secular realm and the days of revelation, if not the days of Noah revisited by the non secular realm. Um, People are discovering things that have been well kept secrets for a long time, and people are also discovering things that have been carefully placed lies. Things that we have established entire belief systems upon, the system of science, is really taking a hit now, and it is the reason why there's this big move and this push towards eradicating fake news. Uh-oh, better get Mako. But so science is getting the biggest hit right now, and I mean it's interesting to me how Neil deGrasse Tyson has you know come from out of obscurity into being probably the first celebrity scientist that we've had since Einstein. Scientism is fighting back. Scientism is the belief in science religiously. People who are affected by scientism believe the things that science says, whether they make common sense, observable sense, or not. Science will tell you that there's no way, according to the model of the of the globe. Science will tell you, based on the globe model and your common sense, based on what they tell you, if what they tell you is true, you should never see the sun and the moon in the sky at the same time. It shouldn't be such a common occurrence. Science will explain it away. But if we live on a plane, like ancient folks believed, and I know that not all ancient folks believed, some ancient folks were deceived, and their records are the ones that we revere the most. The Sumerian culture, I do believe, was fathered by and instructed by the fallen angels. I believe that that was their first attempt at a structured civilization, and it's why the Enuma Elish, the Epic of Gilgamesh, the Sumerian tablets are the tablets that agreed upon history points to the most. The ancient Hebrew model, you may be interested to know, was of this plane, this circle, with a firmament above it. So many places I can go here. But let's start here. Okay. Let's start with the notes. So, when a lot of people say flat earth, what they mean is that they don't believe the theories, the scientific theories that establish a round earth. Thank you for coming in. If you just now come in, please hit the thumbs up button to show us appreciation for staying up with you, and I appreciate you staying up with us as well. Now, so that terminology for years has been used to describe an idiot or a dullard. Oh, what are you, a flat earther? That's a way of saying, what are you, uneducated? Interesting. So I understand that there's a psyop involved because the powers that be saw something moving like wildfire and they had to do some things to catch it. Just like there are psyops involved in 9/11, but was it not a hoax? It was. But there are psyops. There are people who are placed inside the 9/11 truth community to try and make you cling to theories that the rest of the world will discredit, along with the theory of 9/11 being a hoax itself. Flat Earth has the same thing going on. Got a lot of crazy folks who talk about, oh, it's endless. And again, we don't know. We don't know. But what we do know, and what I think people who overstand this model should insist upon, is that we be called folks who don't believe theories about the shape of the earth. You know, I am a person who has reason to doubt NASA. And when you realize all of your pictures, you know, go and find a picture of the round earth that was taken from a camera and has no computer generated enhancement on it whatsoever. You will not find one. That's what blew my mind. I thought it would be easy. And that's when my spidey senses started tingling. As crazy as this theory is. And I was not going to give this theory any room in my head. And I understand people wanting to hold that position because you feel like, man, now I'm jumping out the window. And you realize, no, now I'm discovering another huge cover-up is one by science. What else are they covering up? They hide the nature of Antarctica from us. They hide the truth about the poles from us. They hide the understanding of curvature, gravity, and orbit from us. All of these things have been put to question now by very studious men and some just observant men and women, very studious and observant men and women. And they're questioning these things now at a rate that will cause for this toothpaste to come out the tube. The cat is getting let out the bag. So the powers that be, follow me now, before everybody catches on too tough. And I don't mean catches on to saying, oh, the earth is flat. They don't want people catching on to this. Wait a minute. NASA's lying about stuff? And flat earth is helping that happen at an accelerated rate. Nobody is pulling down NASA's pants and revealing their shame like the flat earth community. Let me say that. Or what's been dubbed the flat earth community. Be aware and wary of those type of titles. It's usually to corral you in a bunch and then Project Move you like they did in Philadelphia. Okay. Thank you, Sister Saved by Grace, I believe that was. Yes, indeed. No, excuse me, Sister Pamela, thank you. Says NASA spends 53 million tax dollars a day. That's a lot of bread. To keep the fooled fed. To keep the fooled people who are fooled, F-O-O-L-E-D, become F-O-O-D. They keep feeding us this information because they need for us to have a particular body of knowledge so that the great delusion, the great end times deception, this grand delusion can be digested by all. And I'm going to tell you, the more this becomes revealed, or the more this becomes a thing among truthers, the faster Project Bluebeam is coming. Just like I said, we know that the Messiah's coming is approaching. The more tribulation we endure, welcome the tribulation. If you're saying Maranatha, come quickly, Lord Jesus, welcome the tribulation then, because that means we're almost there. Until we see that tribulation as described in the book, which I know has a lot of believers shook. They don't want to see no parts of no tribulation. But I'm trying to tell you, it's good. You know, this is the chaos that will cause order on another level. This is chaos to them. And it's going to cause order. And they're afraid of that order, the real world order under Christ. So it's chaos for things like 9/11 to get loose the way they did. Now, they did do 9/11 using visualization, using illusion, and using lesser magic, predictive programming. They pulled out all the stops for 9/11. What will be the next big thing they can do? You know, we've not seen a new 9/11. It's been mass shootings left and right. It's been catastrophes, disasters, natural disasters. Nothing like 9/11. And 9/11 was what the powers that be used when they brought down those two towers. Those two towers represented the two pillars. And really, in truth, the bringing down of the old world, which was based on male and female principle. Bam, the two fell down. That's the Hermeticism. When you look at the depiction of the pillars of masonry, there's a third pillar. The third pillar is to represent the divine nature. So they were bringing down the era of man and woman being in control, and they were bringing up the era of the spirits being in control. That's why you had those pictures of plumes of smoke from 9/11 that had demon faces in them. And some folks are aware that you can catch those pictures online in a lot of different situations, but also in personal situations. When you're out and about, things of that nature, you can catch those things in a cloud of smoke. I ain't lying. So it was such a demonic event. It was a huge event because it was a grand opening for a time period where they would set the stage. They would accelerate their setting of the stage for the final act, which will be, I believe, this alien invasion, what people are terming Project Bluebeam. Now let's look at that a little bit, because if you look up Project Bluebeam, you know, you may be a little discouraged, because what they're doing nowadays, in order to combat fake news, thanks to Trump blowing up the scene, blowing up the spot, is they are using more fine-tuned algorithms to find out when people are talking about conspiracy things, and they are updating Wikipedia with the quickness, and they are making sure that below YouTube videos, they're telling you the official definition. This is the official explanation for it. So the official explanation is Project Bluebeam was never discovered through, or hasn't been discovered in COINTELPRO papers or in any paperwork like Project Paperclip was. Project Monarch, which birthed MK Ultra, was. Project Paperclip, which birthed NASA, was. These are things you can look to in the official government record. Well, they're not playing that game no more in the information age. It's too many curious people. So now you got to get colder with your lies. So now they going out cold. They got Wikipedia in on it and YouTube. So now if you look up Project Bluebeam, is going to point you to this conspiracy theorist where they have pardon me, where they have chosen a rather wild-eyed picture of this man. I'm sure they had a lot of stock photos. So peep game, y'all. I'm trying to give you what you're going to need in 2019. Serge Monast is a conspiracy theorist that they credit with coming up with the idea of Project Bluebeam. Well, all that's cool, except for you'll find out that Serge died the day after he was arrested and taken to jail. And it was, a suspicious death, under suspicious circumstances. It was a sudden death that followed his being taken in by the authorities, and I'm sure questioned. So, conspiracy theorists, quote unquote, believe that he was waxed. And if they took him out, how would they take out a man who was spewing nonsense? So I will say this: Project Bluebeam needs to be another one of them terms, like Illuminati, like conspiracy theorists. We need to redefine it. I think we say Project Bluebeam to summarize what all we mean, because that means a lot, right? So, without having any paperwork on a Project Bluebeam, all one has to do is look at the evidence, especially look at the lies being told by science that help to substantiate space, outer space, and things that NASA want us to believe. And this will help you to understand why there's a blue beam. Another important reason for the questioning of the globe, the nature of the earth, where we're at in the universe. They said that they're telling us now that the universe is ever expanding. Happy New Year, where you are, Big Niece Ajane. Um, these devils are telling us that the universe is ever expanding, right? So it's just not never gonna stop. There's no beginning and there is no end. So some people see the universe as God, the only Alpha and Omega, who came in the flesh as Jesus Christ of Nazareth. hmm The universe is not God. People say, well, I'm let the universe work it out. You ask science, the universe don't have that type of sense. Um, Things happen happenstance. The Big Bang Theory. We actually evolved from a rock. Then, okay, okay. But they say, oh, the primordial soup was created after the Big Bang Theory. They even have a TV show called The Big Bang Theory. Again, it helps to perpetuate all these ideas. For me as a kid growing up, Cowboys and Indians was obsolete. My daddy played Cowboys and Indians. At first, we played Cops and Robbers when I was real little. But by the time Star Wars, Star Trek, Close Encounters, Alien the movie, all of these movies had their effect. Me and my cousins shooting ray guns at each other now. The porch is a starship, a bridge, right? you know. They turned our attention towards space, and they used children by and large to do it, because they knew that by the time this project was ready to be rolled out, those children who were exposed to ET would be middle-aged me. And a lot of my contemporaries were further brainwashed through their absorption of Parliament Funkadelic and X-Clan, and the Soulquarian crew in general, and different ones, native tongues, all helping to push this idea that first, the old school religion is out of the question. Your grandma and your mama and them weren't as educated as we are. They weren't as scientific, and they hadn't exposed to as much research as us. So we know the way now. And we listen to Erykah Badu say, the mothership can't save you, so your sins gonna get left. And a lot of people thought, oh, that's deep. Ooh, that's deep. And they went and put on tall head rags. Professor X and Brother J from X Clan, both of whom were in Bambata-ish scandals um, um, involving a young woman who was supposed to be in Professor X's employ as a gopher. She was really the person that he sent to go get drugs, and she was underage and being molested by X-Clan and crew. One of the problems with this mothership philosophy and with this whole space thing and scientism is a lack of morality. Scientism makes room for a child, for a little child, to be able to tell their parent and their teacher that, hey, I know you named me Ralph and I'm a boy, but I feel like a girl. So now on, you're going to have to call me Tina. Okay? That's the climate. See, so so science has to be over religion because religion holds gender values as very important. Science, not so much. Okay. So again, it's not an indictment on real science, but what is real science? Real science are things that you and I can test. You and I can test and attest to. When they tell us that the moon is 93 million miles away, how do you know? Excuse me, the sun. We don't know any of that. We don't even know the nature of these things. The sun is obviously much closer to Earth than they tell us. Through your practical observations, brothers and sisters, you have noted this. If you take a light and you move it away from the source, excuse me, if you're shining a light on a ball and you move, let's see, shining a light, this is the light, my pen, and the ball is my fist. If this light is shining on this ball, the closer this light is to the ball, the more concentrated the reflection is going to be on the ball. As you move this light away, what happens to the light on the surface of the ball? The light on the surface of the ball grows as it goes further and further and further away. Planets as small as balls of clay. Rakim, were you trying to trick us into this globe earth lie, deception? So, if the sun was that many miles away, it would shine more light on Earth than what it displays. There should not be times in which there's little concentrated areas of sunlight on Earth, which indicate something, the light source being very close to the subject. Close. Then they say, Brother J. Line, I receive a shadow as the moon reflects the sun. We are taught these things in metaphysics and everything. The moon reflects the sun. Oh yeah, that's your moon, and you her son, you see, and see you shine your light on her, and see as a righteous moon, you know she gonna reflect that light back on you, brother. And brother say, please skippity do, brother. Mumbo jumbo. The moon makes its own light, just like your woman should. Hey. The moon makes its own light. That's what my Bible tells me. I don't give a damn what a scientist said. They ain't been up there, and everything that they have said is unraveling. I said it. So now, and these old jive scientists, look at them. They got the biggest reasons in the world to be made men. Funny looking characters. Egotists. I heard one scientist, he was getting a kick out of explaining this to you. Now tell me this is not the scientism view. Oh, well, we're just little insignificant beings who were formed from out of the primordial soup. You know, from the Big Bang, you know, we came from monkeys. And, you know, we formed here. And, you know, we have all these grandiose ideas of how things revolve around us. No, we're just a tiny speck. We're insignificant. Another civilization could come here more advanced, and they could easily just squash us like bugs. And you know, at any given time, we could be wiped out by meteors, by catastrophic collision in space, like the one that caused the Big Bang. At any given time, your life is not promised here. All that type of talk. That's what scientism does for you. But just think, if you overstood that the Father, who was so good, covered you over in a nice protective barrier there, like the Bible says. But the science man said, God loved you so much, he protected you from anything might be flying around. But that's not going to happen. And if it does happen, you know that's a psyop. That's another reason to know about their lying about the nature of the shape of the earth. Again, all these reasons I had no idea of. I thought it was total foolishness. It sounded like a psyop. There's a meme out that says everybody who researches flat earth to debunk it becomes a flat earther. I researched it for the same reason. And I found myself drawn in, especially to Rob Skiba's explanation, not him, but his explanations, because they were Bible-based. And if I believe it like a madman, okay? So, this is the big thing here. So this secret becoming unraveled is dangerous to the end game Project Bluebeam agenda. How can Bluebeam work? Project Bluebeam and its types, okay? A thing like Project Bluebeam could not work if you believed you were encased. If you believed this model, like the ancient Hebrews did, you would believe that sitting above this is God on his throne. These devils was trying to, some believe, and I'm one of them, when they were exploding rockets and missiles and things, they was trying to see if they could break through that mug. They figured it out. The powers that be know this, and they leave secrets and hints to it. Not the big kind of secrets and hints that they want you to discover that they do during revelation of the method. They don't want you to discover it, okay? That's for other Brotherhood members as confirmation. Truman Show was for other Brotherhood members as confirmation to them, not for us. It wasn't to reveal some hidden truth to us, okay? But this lie is unraveling. So what does a desperate criminal do when their lie is unraveling? They hurry up and lay down a bigger one, a distraction lie. So that is why I'm telling you that this 2018 Flat Earth craze is pointing us toward the last days, and that it's now time for them to unroll the biggest lie before it will no longer be plausible, because folks is challenging that we're just this ball out in space, spinning out of control, balling out of control. Trademark. I'm going to do my Flat Earth video called Balling Out of Control. Don't bite. Anyway, so at 2:15, we're going to look at these notes for about 15 minutes, and we're going to go on ahead. So, as I have said here, the Bible gives more of a model that is in accordance with what many advanced ancient civilizations believed. It is called a snow globe model. Let's stick to the script. Now, Admiral Byrd, who flew the famous mission where he supposedly ran into these same Nordics that Hitler ran into. Please follow me. Admiral Byrd was a part of a project, people, and the project was called Guess what? Project. They first of all they were working on projects within Antarctica as well as his project, and those projects was Project Fishbowl and Project High Jump. Project Fishbowl. Okay. Now let's continue. So I said they call it a snow globe model. We talked about ball versus circle in Isaiah. We don't know what shape it is. All we know is that they lie about what they have told us. The nature of the earth, the curvature, the sun and the moon, where they're placed, our place in space, all of that. So that's why I've explained certain things in the beginning. And if you're just not jumping in here, although it may seem like a riveting conversation, we're going to have order here. And I am explaining to you what I have found about it, because people come here to hear my thoughts on things. Let people come to your channel to hear your thoughts. Okay? I appreciate you. But, so again, as I've said many times, it is in question what the shape of the earth is. However, what the Israelites of the Bible and many other civilizations believed is that the model was like this, more like this than what we have, a ball. Further to that point, the prophet Isaiah used both the words ball and circle, two different Hebrew words, to describe two different shapes. A pizza pie is a circle, unless you like square pizzas. But it is not a ball. Overstand. Now, let's continue. Next, the closer that people get to this particular overstanding, the closer we come to the time of releasing the great deception. So that's how close we are, y'all. Again, we're not going to argue about is it flat, is it an infinite plane, are the ice walls the border, the blah, blah, blah. We don't know, and that's how God wants it. All we know is what the word tells us concerning it. And for a man of science who is a believer, that's not a bad representation. Although we are discouraged from making representations of things for this very reason. We get caught up into the wrong part of the argument. Let's stick to what we agree on. That's that these so-and-sos is lying. And I love science. That's what got me fired up. I love science. I was a Nuwapian. I thought it was cool to think that perhaps my ancestors came from another planet, okay? So I was lockstep. I was ready to go. Now I have that zeal that you have when okay, fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me. You ain't gonna fool me no more. I should have said it like the W. So, okay, let's move forward. So, yeah, so realize that this is a 9/11 waiting to happen, because the more that people question what they've been told about science, let's put it there. The more that people question what they have been told about science, the faster science got to go ahead and drop these aliens down. Because guess what the aliens going to do? When the aliens come here, they're going to bolster science, brothers and sisters. The fallen angels are going to share new technology that's going to take mankind into the age of Aquarius, and the new Atlantis will be born. I never learned to swim. Anyway, I can catch the rhythm of the stroke. Trump is a hermetic figure that represents the child of Aries and Taurus. Who have I told you before is the child of Aries and Taurus, according to the zodiac story of how all of the signs interact? Gemini. Aries and Taurus. It's the father, the sun god, the mother, the moon goddess, are Osiris and Isis. Osiris and Isis have a child. What is that child's name? Horus. Aries and Taurus have a child. What's that child's name? Gemini. This figure of Trump represents two very dangerous concepts in the brotherhood belief system. I need y'all to listen, because folks gonna swear I didn't say this before. All signs indicate that he is to represent the Joker, the jester, in the part of this Hermetic theater play that we're watching. The Royal Order of the Jesters is one of the highest orders in the Brotherhood. And Trump is supposedly a member. The Royal Order of the Jester. What does the jester do, y'all? He don't just come and tell jokes. He clowns. So everybody says he's funny. Yeah, he's funny. He's funny. Laugh now, cry later. You're not getting these connections. It's frustrating. I done talked about Hermes and Horus for I don't know how many videos. And there's still some truthers out there that's confused about Trump's role. Trump is going to bring it in. He's the trumpet to bring it in. That's what that means. He's going to bring in what they have to do because of this becoming a problem now. This is the problem that brought on the need for fake news attack. This problem, this flat earth problem, this questioning science problem, let's call it that. I hate the term flat earth. But this is a problem to the elite. They're questioning our science. How can we get the blue beam thing off? Well, we need to get it off before they totally unravel everything. We got to hurry up and get it off, boss. And that's what's coming. And he is the man. He is the perfect figure. See, I thought Obeezy would be the perfect figure because I thought they wanted to try to keep us calm. No, this is going to be the chaos. Bump with Q and them talking about, it ain't finna be no martial law. Well, it's going to be a martial law. And Q has people has gullible people, again, gameless people, so fooled that he has people believing. Thank you to John X Army Channel for this information. I don't know anything about his religious affiliations, so don't fry me. But Q has people believing that martial law is going to be good and that Trump has to bring in martial law in order to drain the swamp, in order to have the power to put crooked Hillary behind bars, and that Obama, he's one of the blacks. No, he ain't. Don't put that on us. We got enough as it is. He's one of the devils. He's one of you. He's one of the devils. Hey. Now, let me move forward. So this is what to look for in 2019. And please hit that like tonight. We got 126 folks watching, about 30 ear hustlers, and 58 likes. So please, if it's within your power to do so, and it don't make you have a crook in your neck, or it don't cost you no money, or no pride, go ahead and hit that like one time. I appreciate you. So this Joker is creating a Joker-friendly atmosphere. The Joker is a performer. Gemini is the performer. There's a great grand performance. And, I have been torn between, and thank you to folks who did. I'm just going to remind folks who didn't. We have 79 folks hit the thumbs up, 127 folks watching. So please hit the thumbs up if you think that we've been rocking. Okay, I appreciate you. You can show a little appreciation too. I know it's a task to ask you to hit that thumb. I know. You don't want to do nothing but breathe air. Okay. That's what my grandma would say. Okay, now. You don't want to do nothing but breathe air, do you? Okay, now. You talking to me? Make me do everything. Okay. Anyway, so now. In this Joker-friendly atmosphere, you have the perfect climate for all hell to break loose. It is a theatrical climate right now. Every time he gets on the news, it's theatrics. You have conspiracy theorists who laugh at his theatrics and make videos about his theatrics like this is some kind of game. Laugh now, cry later. I'm scared when I see them theatrics because I think to myself, and I don't mean literally scared. I mean the closest thing to scared as I get. When I see them theatrics, I think to myself, I began to worry. And then I pray. Because if you're going to pray, why worry? If you're going to worry, why pray? But I say to myself, I've never seen this before. I thought Bush antics, watching President Bush Jr.'s bloopers, I thought that you can never run that twice. You can't do that twice. Trump is just as entertaining, or theatrical is the better word. He's just as theatrical as W was. And W brought us 9/11. People. So, and that's using humor to distract and deflect. And I tend not to laugh when somebody's doing that in my personal life. That's just me personally, though. Let me move forward. So now, the stage is set for the ritual lesser magic of a blue beam-like end scene scenario. The stage is set. And what would happen next? What would happen after that? Nobody talks about that. What would happen after they run the blue beam thing? Can't you see some brothers and sisters in some of the ghettoest places, and also some good, cool, wise, believing homesteaders and preppers looking up in the sky like, well, them ain't no aliens. Them ain't no aliens up there. Hey, Peggy Sue, turn down to Johnny Cash and come here and look at this here with me. And it's going to be brothers and sisters in the ghetto looking up in the sky like, wait a minute. This is what that guy from Detroit with the fist logo be talking about. Okay. It's going to be a lot of people that's not going to buy it. How would you make everybody buy it? And how would you, if you were on their side, how would you deal with the people who refuse to buy it? Ever thought about that? The Independence Day thing happens. What about the folks? What about them good, cool, wise, and civilized brothers in Brooklyn, in the Bronx, who refuse to believe it? Will we be the first casualties of these aliens? Will we be martyred in that way? Or rather, will we be the first slaughters of these devils who are playing the role of aliens? Will we be used as sacrifices for them? People that don't believe and don't conform? When the whole world sees a mothership come down and you say it's not one, watch out, baby. Imagine that. What they gonna do? They gonna leave you running around loose. It may be wise. It may be wise to act like you believe it. If you out in public when it happened, brothers and sisters, I'm trying to give you A1 level game. If you're out in public while that happens, you act like the rest of the folks. Okay? And get to safety, of course, but you realize what's really going on. And you will also know that the things the government tells you not to believe, because they've been working with these devils for years, and they've been trying to figure out a way to introduce them to the masses gently. That's what E.T. was all about. in all of this star madness and outer space madness. They've been trying to figure that out for the longest. How can we introduce these things to people? We are almost ready. And again, for some people too, who are questioning science and space and the nature of space, all they got to do is drop the mothership down. And if you're on the fence concerning questions about the shape of the earth, once they drop the mothership down, the average bear square is going to say, oh, I see it, I believe it. Oh man, we are just out in space, just uncovered and just floating. Oh man, they about to do us in. Not your boy. Walk right up to one of them, let my mouth go secular on him. And it is at me, zip, zip. And that'll be my martyrdom. Painless, instantaneous. But no, all quips aside, look for 2019 to be about like that. Peace and blessings and happy New Year's to you, baby. Sister Jessica H is in the place. Welcome to you. And welcome, Christian Snow. Christian Snow, sir, if you've not been listening, please don't chime in because you think that you know where I'm going. Perhaps because you hear in my voice that I'm a black man, and you may be a black man too, but you may just make some assumptions about me. Again, I'm not the average bear square. I never said the earth was flat. Not a single time during this broadcast, nor the last. I said I question the nature of the shape of the earth because of the nature of NASA and lies that are unraveling within the realm of science. And I said that these lies being unraveled at this time in history is a cause to pause and consider that Project Bluebeam may be upon us. That's where we are at in the conversation. And if you're going to join a conversation, please join it from where we're at, because we're not going to continue to go back and address what has already been addressed. Thank you and stay blessed. Now, so we said, and what happened next? Now, the other concerning thing about what happened next was the result or the reaction of New Yorkers. New Yorkers went through 9/11, and New Yorkers went through a Project Bluebeam PSYOP test the other day. That tells me this thing is on the way. I've seen Transformers blow up before. The light is usually white. I understand they say, oh, well, there was some kind of chemical in it that made it blue, blah, blah, blah. See, that's all they have to do. That's scientism. How do you know that's true? You don't know that's true. So if you believe something blindly because a scientist told you, scientism. So last night or a couple of nights ago helped again. All of this is happening while I'm building a video talking about how black people were brought into this mothership deception through Parliament Funkadelic. What a coincidence. Have y'all seen the other videos that have come out around the time of mine? I don't maintain that people are biting. I think that there's a particular transmission that's in the air, that the Father is pouring out his spirit and allowing for certain teachers to pick up. One of the reasons why I was just dropping movies there for a minute, I think we hadn't had a live stream probably in a couple of weeks or something, was because, for one thing, people aren't watching the live streams. They said, well, why don't you read this? Why don't you do this? Why don't you waste your time? So again, I'm going to do things that you show me are worthwhile to you. You're the reason I'm here. So if something looks like it's worthwhile, I ain't going to keep doing it. But the testing out that they did the other night should give you more indication as to how close we are. And again, pardon me, I'm so sorry. I have a cold. Please don't hold that against me. I live in Detroit. 2 days ago, it was 50-some degrees. It's probably 25 degrees today or yesterday, whatever. Yesterday. It wasn't that cold today because it was raining instead of snowing. But 2 days ago, it was 55 degrees. I saw people in shorts and T-shirts. This is Detroit. It's a cold place. You ever seen a football game in Ford Field in the wintertime? Okay. Did you see when Aretha played at Ford Field? She sure had her fur coat on. She didn't have to wear that. Well, maybe she did. But anyway, I'm about running out of gas. Okay, so we're at 2:35, and it's about time for prayer, which is the reason why we're here. These things are important as the Lord gives us some indication as to how things are going to play out. It's important that we share those things. Now, where and if an assassination is a part of that play, I don't know, but I think that's likely too. Chaos is chaos. A big scene in a movie, the final scene in a movie, there it's a lot going on. Anybody seen the Avengers? Okay, so the final scene in this movie, I am 95% positive is going to deal with a fake alien invasion, and I'm 80% believing that it's going to have something to do with an assassination. And they can work the two together, but these will be the chaotic events of 2019 to help to bring us this theater's final scene. This play is about to have its last act. Then there will be great, and again, the chaos will certainly precede tribulation. Chaos brings forth tribulation. So that's how far we are. We're really much further into the days of Noah than I think a lot of people want to admit. So I said 2:30, so we're going to make it 2:40. We're at 2:37 now. And I guess with these last few minutes, I'm going to try to grab any questions that folks may have about the subject at hand. And if your question reflects to me that you have an agenda, or you weren't listening, or you have some preconceived notion of what I'm going to say, I will not deal with that question. And I will move on to someone who has an edifying question. So I'm just opening up the other device here. And as soon as that device is open, I'm going to open the floor. And again, this is what we're talking about. So I'm going to make this an even hour-long video. So we got about 7 minutes or so, okay? So this is what we're going to talk about. And we're going to talk about it from the context of the conversation we just had. If you're not aware of that context, please allow someone who is to ask the question. And I'm pulling it up now. Okay? So this is how we're going to end this one up. And I'm going to just log into the chat with where everybody's at. And again, thank you. Again, if any of this information was helpful to you, or if it helped to shape your worldview, if it helped you to see how certain puzzle pieces are likely to go together, then that was my pleasure and goal. It's always a pleasure when God's people get together. And it's always a treat when his elect meet. So, here I am. Here I am. Okay. And the first question I see that I do believe I'm going to field is, oops, wait a minute. Where's the thing at? Where's the live stream part? It's at the bottom. Oh, okay. Okay. The part where people are chatting just disappeared. How do you make it reappear? I'm sorry. How do you make that part reappear, y'all? On an iPad. Uh-oh. Folks arguing and stuff already. Oh, yeah. They starting the new year off right. Go Detroit. Get out of here. Okay, let's see here. All right. I'm back to it now. Okay, Mr. Shepherd. And it would be nice if you can highlight your questions, but I do believe somebody answered you. Big niece Ajane, I do believe gave your righteous answer. But I'm going to answer you because maybe you wanted my answer. My answer, he says, do you think this is why all the trans stuff so we humans can be like the fallen physically? Yes, most definitely. Most definitely. As we explained in the first part, I believe, we talked about genitals and genitalia and sexual identity and how that's a big thing in the news now. The questioning of that is a big thing in the news now. All of that has to do with the hermaphrodite. What's the root of hermaphrodite? Somebody that's been listening to these hermetic talks. I'm going to make you get tired of that word. Hermaphrodite, hermaphrodite. Hermaphrodite. What's the root? Well, you've got two. Thank you, Mr. Shepherd. Excellent. All right, Hermes. And so therefore they want, yes, they want their idea of God is you are neither bound by, just what you hear the transgender people saying. You're not bound by sex. You're not bound by religion. You're not bound by any preconceived race. Again, there is this move to the neutrinoid movement goes right along with the removal of nationalism. They don't want you to identify with a nation or a tribe. You're going to be space people, universal lovers. You're going to be a universal being. You're a citizen of the universe, citizens of the universe, right? I bring to you a good time on the mothership. Are you here? Okay. I just look like this and I talk like this too. Get used to it. Or kick rocks. Excuse me. 2019, welcome. And welcome, Brother Robert Ross. God bless you and welcome. And Brother Ryan, God bless you and welcome. And Sister Naomi, 415, God bless you and welcome. Southern Pride, God bless you and welcome. Right on, Global Citizen. That's right. That's what they want to call you. They don't want you to be talking about Israelite. Oh, they don't want you to be talking about I'm from the Ojibwe tribe. They don't want you to identify with none of that because that will make you have separate personal morals and beliefs and ideas. Do you know what the what the politically correct era is all about now? This PC witch hunt. Do you know what it's about? Universalism, brothers and sisters. They don't care if Louis C.K. say nigger or Donald Trump say it. That's false. They don't care if the women in Hollywood is getting pimped, holed, slapped, or trapped. That's false. Wake up. Political correctness is a way to create universal ideas and to recreate societal norms. Things that was normal to tweet back and forth between friends 2 years ago, now you can get in trouble for. This is bringing in this universal mindset. It is not about good intention. Just like Donald Trump signing some kind of bill to help the impoverished neighborhoods, blase, splee, skippity, dippity, do, whatever. Sounds like gentrification to me, and it should to you. But so don't fall for the okie doke when appear to do good things. Oh, well, it appears that Hollywood is cleaning up. Oh, well, look, Trump's going after the pedophiles. Goofy goobers. It's part of the image. It's part of the game. Part of the theater. That's like Drake giving out $1 million. You that gullible. Some of you. Okay, next question. Esteban E., I thought that said 50 has a lot to do with the transmission of these fake events. I said, nah, Curtis Jackson got his hand in everything, directing, acting. Oh, he says 5G has a lot to do with the transmission of these fake events. Well, yeah, 5G is going to help everything move faster. You know, we'll get the information they want us to have to get in formation much faster with 5G. And it'll fry our brains and compromise our thinking while all this chaos is going on. It'd be a great thing to have the chaos going on, and then you can shoot psychotronic weapons and electronic transmissions through the air and radioactive transmissions through the air all at the same time. Oh boy. Think of the joy and fun that Luciferians and the spirits that guide them will have. Chaos. You don't know what chaos looks like. A lot of movies have tried to show us what chaos looks like. We don't know. Even the Bird Box tried to show you what chaos would look like. We don't know. There's another movie too. Somebody was going crazy like that. The Mouth of Madness. The Mouth of Madness. Okay, that's Stephen King, right? That's another movie. They try to show you what chaos will look like. What supernaturally infused chaos will look like. Demonically infused chaos. A lot of movies have tried to show us. The Awakening and others. But the Black Awakening, you know, all these things happening at one time constitutes chaos. Even back when I played video games, and the last one that really enthralled me was Grand Theft Auto Ghetto Style, whatever it was called, San Andreas. It was probably a better name for it. There was all these different codes you could use. One of the codes was like a chaos mode. That's probably the closest thing to what it's going to be. You know, really a real chaos mode of folks going junkie wild. And that's going to take a lot, brothers and sisters. Do you see how calm New Yorkers were? After 9/11, it's going to take a lot, brothers and sisters, to shake you up the way 9/11 did. And that's what they want to do. Next. Okay. Right on. And welcome, Andreas Iverson. Do we have any more good questions? Somebody asked about the Black Mirror. Never seen it. I don't have Netflix. Ain't that next Netflix? I found Bird Box on Putlocker. That's right. I said it. Go find it. Go watch it. If you ain't got Netflix like me, it may still be on Putlocker. Okay, do we have anything else here? Any other good ones? Each one shall teach one. That's a good one. That's a good comment. I like that. Okay, Elijah Brown is an actual question. Well, and then ZB. Okay, so first Elijah. Do you think these alien fakes will be the new government? I know that these aliens will work with the new government. Have you heard about Lord Maitreya and Crumb, his mouthpiece? They're going to work with the government. They're going to work with the government and the religious elite, which may and probably will be the Pope at that time still. You know, things are changing. But if things are still as they are, and this will probably happen in a short enough time where the Pope's still going to be the Pope, yes, they're going to work with the Pope and the governments of the world. The UN already has an ambassador for these quote unquote aliens. So that answers your question. So yes, they're going to be a part of the governing body. The next question by ZB. Welcome to you, ZB. So as you mentioned before, do you think we should act like we don't know what's going on when the blue beam happens, or should we instantly inform our brothers and sisters of the deception? Well, if you listen when I mentioned, please, folks, help me out here. I said if you're out and about, the wisest thing for you to do is to probably get in to where you're around family and friends, and then you can tell them. But what we know, and it shouldn't be this way, but it's true, is you'll be out there telling people in the street, and as soon as there's a call for any dissidents, do you or any family members know of any loved ones who aren't reporting to the reporting stations? There are reporting stations now in every major city, and you and your loved ones are to report to those stations because of this mothership that has just made contact with the United Nations in New York. Okay, anyone who is not complying with these regulations could possibly be carrying an infection, or could possibly be blah, 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 or could possibly be blah, blah, blah. So for your safety and the safety of your friends and neighbors, please let us know of anyone you know who's not going to the reporting stations, who hasn't showed up at such and such, who hasn't filed it, there, this, that, and the third, okay? That's going to be us. So you may not want to let strangers and everybody know that you're unplugged at a moment like that. That's all I say. But in everything, be watchful and pray. Oh, Lord. Lord, give them peace or give them space. Okay. So another question. I bet you both of them look like they fell out the ugly tree and hit every branch. That's why one of them don't want to let the other one go. They don't think they'll ever get no more. Okay, let's see. Okay, Lewis Anderson says, okay, Robert Ross says, have you saw Chappie? No, I haven't seen Chappie. Lewis Anderson says, but I'm going to remember that name. Lewis Anderson says, what's the connection between New York and Louisiana? Two Illuminist headquarters. One primarily for the practice of and the empowering of witchcraft. The witchcraft that helps to fuel the rest of the nation. James Cargill made his home down there. For the same reason, Clinton made his home or his office in Harlem. For the same reason, there was an energy in Harlem, or a spirit or principality over Harlem that he was in league with. Well, the powers that be will often go to Louisiana because there are principalities over Louisiana that are definitely in league with our authorities, the government, and New York being a financial base and the old world base. L.A. is what New York was. New York was where all the Hollywood folks stayed and where all the movers and shakers stayed. Now that's L.A. So New York represents the old world, and that's why it has the public enemy crosshairs over its head the worst. Let's see. Try to get a couple more. We're almost at 3 a.m., so I might as well go for 6 minutes. None of this can be prevented by prayer. You can be protected by prayer. The prayers of a righteous person availeth much. You can protect your friends and families by prayer, but you can't stop what has to happen for the purging of the earth. The Lord is allowing for the devil to create this chaos through his minions and brotherhoods so that it helps to push revelations forward. So these things have to happen. I would not pray against this happening, myself personally. Now, if the Comforter moves you to pray for that, then certainly do so. But, I would think more so that you would want to pray that people be able to deal with whatever it is that the Father's going to allow to happen on the earth, because mankind has called for it. Okay? Which is, the same as your question. Can prayer impact the end time prophecy? No. It can, again, can it impact the things that must happen? No. But can it protect certain individuals who may have perished otherwise? Yes. Pray that the Lord open their eyes. Pray that the Lord open their ears. Pray that the Lord loose them from any unteachable or unleadable spirit. Pray that the Lord reveal these things to them in a dream. Certainly that changes the outcome. But the devils, and I'm talking about the human devils, who are the puppets of their spirit devil puppeteers, have to do what they have to do to earn their place in hell and to move the prophecy of Revelation forward. Thank you for the good report, Sister Grace S., and welcome, Brother Kendall. Welcome to you. Sister Grace gives a good report and says that she wanted to thank all of us for praying, and we want to thank the Father for listening, praying for her spiritual sister whose child was missing. Prayers were answered. Praise God. And thank you all for praying. And thank you for giving us the chance to pray. In Jesus' name, God bless you. Brother Carlos says, William Cooper spoke of this in the early 80s and 90s on shortwave radio. Yes, he did. I had the full collection of the Hour of the Time broadcast on cassette tape. I'm an old school truther. Let's see. Right on. Big Niece said that's what she was thinking. And Rihanna, B is in the place to be. And please don't be mad at me because I didn't see. I told y'all, when I got ready to do the shout outs, it only let me scroll about a quarter of the way up. So I know I missed a lot of people, and I know they're going to be mad at me. And that's what I deserve. Let's see here. Nicole B., welcome. Welcome to you. And I'm glad we got to answer your question too. Beezy, right on. Putlocker. Ain't that what I said? Yeah, right. Putlocker. Mm-hmm. Yep. I watched it. Don't y'all be listening to my good native Detroiters out there enjoying 2019. Sign of things to come. Okay, so we got 2 minutes left. Thumbs down. Somebody's always butthurt behind something I say, or because they can't control me or make me say things their way. Welcome to my world. You're welcome to leave. Okay. All right, y'all. So at the 3 o'clock mark, we're going to go ahead and jump out and get ready for prayer. We're going to have our prayer live stream here. I hope that I explained things to people in a way that made you understand why there's such a craze about what they call quote unquote flat earth. Okay? That was my goal. My goal wasn't to get you to say it was flat or round or obtuse. My goal was to get you to understand that it's a deeper meaning to this. And as an old schooler, I know y'all young folks don't respect the old school nowadays. I'm going to start calling myself Little Unplug 'em. I'm going to change this. For 2019, when y'all look up here, it's going to say Little Unplug 'em. But I'm an old schooler, y'all. And I can tell when something has some merit to it. Just by how it moves. By the people who choose to talk about it. By the people who choose not to talk about it and how they word that. And by the testimonies of folks who dismissed it at first, but then looked into it. And Eddie Bravo, I've got to give him his credit again. He's just a jiu-jitsu guy. I didn't know this guy from Adam. I saw him on the Joe Rogan podcast, and the way he talked about it helped me feel more comfortable with talking about it, because I wasn't going to talk about it at all. I was going to let this be my little secret. Yeah, I wasn't going to tell y'all about it. But no, I knew that sooner or later we was going to have to address this, but I really didn't know how to address it. And, watching other people's testimonies, that's an important thing to you, too. I think if you listen to how people came to believe about it. And I only gave you 3 names. If you go outside of them 3 names and you watch some lunatic's video, and don't come back mad at me. I told you you can trust the science and the explanations of Jeranism. I told you that you can trust the biblical correlations made by Rob Skiba. This is me telling you this. I don't endorse people. And I told you that, if you're a little loose, you're not real tightish and tight mouth type of person, you may enjoy Eddie Bravo talking about it. And that's that. And that's that. And let me add this. Eddie Bravo, with all of his worldliness, me just mentioning his name to you made me remember this. So, in a sense, it's to his credit. It's all about discrediting God. The Scientism movement, and really the globalist movement, has been trying to discredit God a number of ways. There are people who didn't believe that there was any merit to the Bible, who are starting to believe that there's more merit to it than they thought, as they begin to research why would they lie about the shape and nature of the earth. And I'm going to leave you with that. And it's 3:02 a.m. It is officially January 1st, 2019. Have a blessed rest. If you're about to lay it down, lay it down. And a sweet sleep, according to Psalm 4 and 8 and Proverbs 3 and 24. And I ask that our Father in heaven would bind to your sweet sleep, sweet dreams. And I'll catch you later. But for folks who are ready to stay up and get in prayer war mode, let's do that before somebody shoots a random New Year's Eve shot in here. All right. God bless you all. Good night. And come on back now here. Happy New Year. And if I miss you, I wasn't trying to dish you. I was happy to see you here. But now you got to go. You got to go home, but you got to leave here. But come right back, and we're going to have prayer. All right. God bless you. Good night. Did y'all hear me? Come on back. If you're going to touch and agree with prayer. And again, thank you for listening. Thank you for sharing. Thank you for overstanding. And thank you for caring. And thank you if you were kind enough to show your appreciation for our time and effort spent gathering and dispersing this information by hitting that thumbs up button. It may not mean much to you, but we appreciate it through and through. Good night. Come back, prayer warriors. The rest of y'all kick rocks. Military time. Attention! All right. All right, y'all. In a minute. Thank you, sister. Thank you, big sister Vanette, and glad that you could appreciate that. I was really worried about it. I said, man, I'm gonna lose 1,000 subscribers tomorrow. Well, what else is new? All right, y'all. Get on out of here. All right. Good night. Come back.